cares?
So we're about an hour past our lovable Carolina Panthers completing their third straight loss so far after losing in the Superdome to the New Orleans Saints by a last-second field goal. Drew Brees, they drove the entire length of the field. But hey, that's the Carolina way, right?
Carolina way.
So Cal Allen, who I have to give my props to this week, I gotta tip my hat to Cal Allen. 23 of 36 for 256 yards, 3 touchdowns, and absolutely no turnovers. He
fumbled one time. It got recovered.
Okay, my bad. I missed that.
He has to fumble every week.
Okay, so. I missed the
Butterfingers.
But still, nice bounce back game from Cal Allen. CMC did what CMC do. He only had 64 yards, but he left his mark on the game. And DJ Moore, who I think is really, really starting to come into his own right now, finished the game with 6 catches, 126 yards, and two touchdowns. So, I always typically throw out the offensive stats. I'm really getting into the defense, and I kind of let you guys get into that. But, Jamal, give me your initial thoughts on today's game.
I think we all have to eat some crow on Kyle Allen. I think he played. I think he played a hell of a game. I think he showed some resiliency, especially after the first quarter. I know as an observer, I almost mentally checked out of that game because after last week, man, and after this week of Charlotte sports, let's get that clear. I was just like, I can't take anymore. I don't know what kind of person Queen Charlotte was, man, but she must have been a harlot or something because this
man just said harlot.
This is some painful stuff, man. Anyway, back to the game. I thought I didn't think Christian McCaffrey touched the ball enough, if that sounds crazy.
Okay.
Like, seriously, 64 yards is like, it's pedestrian, especially for him. I think we're more effective when he gets over 100 yards. However, DJ Moore having the game he did, maybe we just didn't need McCaffrey as much as we thought we did. I do have a minor beef with Norv Turner. I do think he called a good game, but when it came down to plays within the 5-yard line, goal line situations, I thought he was terrible. I thought it was wildly predictable, and it came back to bite us in the ass, man. And let me go on record and issue a public apology to Graham Gano. Graham Gano, I am sorry for every negative thing I've ever said about you, man. Please heal up and get well soon. I do not advocate violence against people who play sports, but Graham Gano, just get well soon. I'll just leave it at that, man.
What you got, Rodney? Follow up.
I wish our defense played 2 halves. We got gashed in the first half by Latavius Murray. We pretty much kept Alvin Kamara in check. We gave up 7.9 yards per rush, man. You're not going to win like that. You're not going to win, especially at the Superdome. So I like the adjustments that were made after halftime, defensive-wise. Shout out to Eric Reed. You can't cover worth a damn, but you sure can tackle. Yeah, he led the team with 15 tackles today. In that clutch fourth down tackle against Alvin Kamara. But
and I think
Joey Slye, man.
Well, in my bad for cutting you off, I'll give it right back to you. I don't like celebrating Eric Reed leading the team in tackles.
Because your safety cannot lead the team.
Your safety.
I want to get back to Luke Kuechly having 15 tackle days. That's
we're not getting that rush up front. He's getting chipped off, man. He only had 6 tackles today.
And it's funny that you say that because there was one play in the first half today where it felt like Drew Brees had like 2 weeks to throw the ball. Mm-hmm. And I think Michael Thomas caught the ball dragging across the field. And we made all these offseason moves and acquisitions to bolster up our front 7, and we aren't getting pressure on nobody.
I'm glad you brought that up because there was also a situation where they split Alvin Kamara out wide.
Yeah,
and I have always thought to myself, why don't the Panthers do that with McCaffrey more often? And I answer my own question because when you do that, when you split your running back out wide, you're going to need stout protection up front. We don't have that. We're not going to have time to do that. So it must be nice, man. I saw the Saints do it, and it worked a couple of times. It was just like, man, with the offensive line, it's almost like
It's tragic.
yeah, man. It's such a shame we can't utilize McCaffrey even more than we do.
I mean, at this point, the offensive line is basically franchise. The franchise has not put an adequate offensive line in for the past 4 years, man. It's getting ridiculous. We had injuries today. We can't block anybody. We don't have the maulers. We can't even run on the goal line.
I'll be fair about that. Because I can't say it's for lack of not trying, because they went out and got Matt Paradise. They drafted Little, they drafted Daly, but they're just missing.
I mean, how many first rounders have we drafted? None.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. I'm gonna give you a perfect example. When I think it was the year we drafted Luke. I might be wrong on this, but there was a guy named Morgan Moses available, and I remember everybody was like, "Man, you got to go get that dude." And whoever we drafted ended up being better than Morgan Moses. So the point I'm trying to make is you can't reach for it either, man. You get what I'm saying? So the Panthers have been in this precarious situation where it's like, all right, we got to draft the best dude instead of drafting for need. And they still drafted for need, and it's still not working. True. So I can't say they're not trying, man. Sometimes we got to be objective with draft picks like the Hornets sometimes it just don't work. You can criticize in hindsight, but I can say it just don't work. You just
so
miss
let me ask you this.
Man.
With so many holes that we have in our offensive line, do you guys think we could probably hide some of those deficiencies by changing up our offensive scheme?
Gotta talk to North about that.
Talk to North.
Well, what type of offensive system would you guys like to see?
Well, see, the thing is, when you have a bad offensive line, the first, system that comes to mind is a West Coast offense.
Agreed.
I think Kyle Allen would actually be a good fit for that.
Because all he does is throw in between the numbers in the slant route.
You get what I'm saying? I don't see that as a bad idea, but, we don't have – I miss the days where our offense was simple in this way. Back in the Jake days – it was hand it off, throw it deep, because we had time to do it. We had an offensive line to do that. These days, man, it's.
Could you imagine Christian McCaffrey playing behind that offensive line?
Lord have mercy, man.
Jeez Louise, man.
Dog, if Stephen Davis, who ran a 5.2, could be that productive, imagine what Christian McCaffrey would have done.
So speaking of the number 5, there are 5 points out there that the Panthers could have scored today that we just.
Lord, you don't say, bitch. You don't say.
So Rodney, you were actually getting there. You was getting to that earlier. So, do you want to expound a little bit more on our rookie place kicker?
I'm gonna echo what Jamal said. Graham Gano.
We're sorry, man.
I apologize for bad mouthing you earlier this year and calling for Slye to take your job. I hope you get well soon from your knee surgery, and we will see you next year. And also, you can't trust a Virginia Tech Hokie.
Okay.
I look, man, I don't like hindsight. Y'all know I don't. However, it needs to be said. Harrison Butker could have been on this team.
Ooh.
So.
Yeah. Ooh. Okay, so
7th round, right?
There was a sighting today that I don't think a lot of people realized. He goes by the name of Brian Burns. I think he made one.
I'm sorry, who?
Exactly. Any idea where he's been, why he's been where he's been, and why hasn't he been on the field?
I think Rodney has a good theory on this.
I think
I know what you're gonna say.
Yep, you know me. I think they're protecting him because he hurt that shoulder. I mean, not the shoulder, but the wrist was hurt more than we were led on to believe.
And you know how the Panthers are with injuries.
There's a common theme here. And so Ron's like, I'm just gonna pay him 5 or 10 snaps. Just next year's the year. That's all I got to say. Next year is the true year.
And ain't it funny how we don't see Brian Burns for like what, last
2-3 weeks?
2-3 weeks.
It's been a while, yeah.
And look at the trend on defense. And then look at the trend on defense when he actually had snaps in the second half.
Exactly. So